Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the original Loretta Brown Show, radio to open the heart, heal the soul, and awaken the consciousness. Good morning, my amazing Mr. Benny Mathers.
Hello.
Ta-da!
Hello.
Hello.
Have we recovered a little bit since last week? Maybe a little.
Maybe a little.
Well, I know what we could change things up with a little bit. It's National Cheeseburger Day.
Whoa!
So let's just flip the script.
Yes.
Okay. Visit your favorite eatery and join everyone else on this fabulous day. What would be your favorite?
Ooh, cheeseburger.
Like on it or where? It doesn't matter.
You mean on the burger or where to eat it?
Are you a traditional gal or do you like to go a little off the page a little bit?
Yeah, I do sometimes. You know, I do like a cheeseburger. Like I actually like a regular cheeseburger.
Standard, straight up.
Yes, regular cheeseburger. But sometimes I like mushroom burgers.
Oh, that's good.
You know, things like that. And sometimes I want something spicy, something hot.
Ooh.
Like a burning love burger or
like
something.
A fire from here and maybe out there later.
yeah, exactly.
Burger. Well, I would recommend or try, I don't know if you've heard about this, but it's like the donut burger, like the donut cheeseburger. So you replace the buns with a donut.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like the sweet and savory.
Yeah, okay.
Don't knock it matter. Don't knock it till you try it.
I think I'd have to try that. Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't knock it till you try it. Right. I think you should.
Yeah. What kind of donut, or is that up to you, or is it like
I think you just do a traditional one. That's how I've had it before, and you keep it simple and you just let all those different flavors and savoriness jump in there. Yeah, right.
Okay, so you did it. So it's kind of like a thumbs up from you.
I do, maybe. Yeah, and throw a little bacon in there because you know, like you can do like a bacon maple bar. Have you ever done that? That's the same thing.
Yeah,
like a sweet and savory. Same thing with the burgers.
Yeah.
I think you should try that today.
Okay, I'm gonna give that a go.
Good.
Yeah. Happy Cheeseburger Day, everybody.
Yeah. Woo.
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. So thanks for tuning in to my radio show today. We got a great guest. Before I get to that, I am Loretta Brown. I'm the owner of Reiki Oasis, located right here in the greater Seattle area for almost 30 years. Every time I say it, I can't believe it, but it is true. And here we are. Yeah, this Saturday, I always have things going on over at Reiki Oasis. I have my monthly class for women called Temple of the Divine Feminine. You can join us in person or via Zoom. And, we're edging into the other solar eclipse and into the autumn equinox and into the rest of the year. And so we always do women's circle, and we always do sacred ceremony in regards to where we're at and on planet Earth. So I hope you'll join us. And then also just a reminder, I am taking my sacred group of travelers to Egypt. I head up Sacred Tours. We will be gone September 29th all the way to October 19. And even if you're not going on this trip with me, because I only have 12 travelers traveling with me, there's 13 of us, send us good energy, good vibes. We're doing all kinds of things over there, as well as touring around in the temples. And
I know one thing.
Yes.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
Walk like an Egyptian.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
I think we're going to do that all over the place. I'm trying to get somebody to make us a little video at each temple. We'll be doing it, right? Yeah. So anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun. You'll be able to listen to some great encore shows because, Benny keeps everything going. That's what he does.
Yeah. I do what I can.
Yeah. Yes,
but you only have 11 days until you got to go. So you got to get ready, get prepared,
I know.
Are there any spots available?
I could squeeze one person.
Oh, there it is, people.
One person.
All right.
Yeah. And you'd have to contact me now. Now.
So you have to
walk like an Egyptian.
Over to Loretta right now. Okay.
Yes, you do.
If you see people doing that, you just gotta jump on it. All right.
Yeah. Send an email to reikioasis@gmail.com if you're interested. And like I said, it will have to be instantly because there's a lot of preparation that we do for the trip.
Perfect.
We are what I call a top shelf trip. Like we have our own private yacht, and we got a lot of private tours through certain parts of temples, and so it's big. It's a big trip.
It's
So
big time.
it's big time.
Nice.
We have a good time. Yeah, exactly. So and then I don't know, for those people that are sound healers out there, because I'm a sound healer, I take a crystal bowl with me. You can actually carry stuff on the airplanes, but do check with, the size of overhead compartments and underneath, and be real careful with those crystal bowls. You got to have them in the proper carriers so that you don't break them. And of course, you have to carry them. Don't I feel like, do I really need to say this? Don't check it like a baggage,
No, I
because the
wouldn't.
gorillas in the back will throw them around,
Right?
and that'll be the end of your
They might
crystal bowls.
mistake it for like a snack bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, when
Hey,
you're on the
look at this.
plane, you're like just walking through, people are like, hey, oh, there's nothing in there.
That's a nice sized snack bowl.
Right? Where are the
I mean,
pretzels? Tons of pretzels in there.
I love the way your mind works, Betty. You're great.
Right, I'm
Just loving it. I'm going to be thinking about that now. Next time I pull out my crystal bowls, I'll be like, oh, yeah, these are salad bowls. That's what's going on. Yeah. That's great. Anyway, so let's get to astrology. You need to buckle up, Buttercup. Get ready for a wild ride as we dive into the game and changing energies of the Virgo solar eclipse at 29 degrees, happening September 21st. And why do we care about 29 degrees? It's the last sign it's the last degree of a zodiac sign. So it always is big endings, big beginnings. And the Virgo solar eclipse is like a supercharged new moon, slamming the reset button on your life at the critical 29-degree mark, a point of endings and bold beginnings. And we had another eclipse on September 7th, which was a full moon eclipse, which was really more about death. And of course, we all know what has happened between then and now. And now we're basically birthing. So this solar eclipse is screaming, you've mastered lessons and you've completed cycles. Now own it. This eclipse opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces is a reality check. It's asking you to get serious, take responsibility, and face lingering challenges head on. No more sidestepping. Maybe it's a habit, a mindset, or an old story holding you back. Virgo's earthy precision says it's time to clean it up now. Align your body, mind, and spirit, and step into Libra season with your energy field crystal clear. Oh, that sounds good. Practically, this means setting intentions for health and self-care. Start a new workout, journal your goals, meditate to sync with your soul's plan, and stay intentional with your words and actions. They're manifesting faster than ever. Also, like I said, Virgo has this wonderful get it done now, practical cleanup. And I think we kind of need some of that, right? And then, like I said, we're getting ready to go into Libra season. On September 22nd, the Libra equinox, we've got the autumn equinox, balances light and dark, shifting us from lower to higher chakras. It's a moment to check your relationships. Are you giving too much or too little? Find equilibrium. The sun's opposition to Neptune retrograde in Aries at 0 degrees, which is called a world point, rips away the false self you've worn to please others. This is about owning your authentic needs, especially in Libra's themes of partnership and fairness. And ask yourself, what do I truly want? What do I truly want? You are a co-creator with all that is. What do you want? Journal it, speak it, live it, take the steps toward it. Adding to this magic, we have an air grand trine with Mercury in Libra, Uranus in Gemini, and Pluto in Aquarius, sparking genius ideas and revolutionary communication. From September 18th, Mercury in Libra fuels creative daydreams, perfect for brainstorming projects or beautifying your space. And on September 19th, I think we're close to that date. We're on the 18th. It's on the 19th tomorrow. Venus in Virgo begs you to treat your body like a temple. book your massage, start a healthy eating plan, or organize your routine. And by September 22nd, Mars in Scorpio might stir intense emotions, but pushes you to transform how you act. Trust your intuition to pivot if something feels off. This eclipse's energy stretches into early 2026 as Saturn and Neptune in Pisces keep tugging at that 29-degree point. We're going to be finding out the unraveling of more illusions, exposing truths. I kind of feel like someone's pulling back the carpet or pulling back the curtain and saying, here, take a look at what's really going on. The world is changing permanently. We're never going to go back. From hidden deceptions coming to light to whispers of ascended masters walking among us, we are in a powerful collective awakening. This is a cosmic reset, a portal to release old patterns and merge past life lessons into a new unified reality. You might feel heightened emotions or sudden clarity. I advise you to embrace it. Embrace it. Step straight into it. It's your chance to let go of what doesn't serve you and co-create a new earth. So how do we navigate this, everybody? We exhale a lot, we breathe a lot, we drink lots of water, we get our rest, we go out, we stay grounded, we stay authentic. My advice, meditate daily, even for 5 minutes, even for a moment. Connect with your inner truth. Use Virgo's practical magic, organize your desk, eat nourishing foods, carry a grounding crystal like hematite, speak with intention. Your words are spells shaping your reality. And as Pluto in Aquarius and Uranus in Gemini reshape how we connect, question the information you're consuming and lean into heart-centered communication. If you feel overwhelmed, take a walk in nature, anchor your humanness. It's a very powerful time that we're in on planet Earth. These eclipses do come in sets of 3. The first set was in spring of this year. This is the second set. And by the third set, which will be the first part of next year, around the spring of next year, we will be in a brand new world. So we're being launched. Be brave, release the old, step boldly into the light. You're not just transforming yourself, you're part of a ripple effect awakening humanity. Harness the energies and let's create a world that shines with hope and unity and silliness and love and Reiki. Woohoo! I did say it. There it is. So now get ready. We're going to have a really great soul-stirring conversation with Samantha Fey. She is a radiant intuitive, a sister Reiki master, a crystal whisperer. She's lighting the path to our inner magic. She's the author of a beautiful book called The Heavenly Alliance. Call on your spirit guides, ancestors, and angels to manifest the life you want. She's also written a book called The Awake Dreamer, a guide to lucid dreaming, astral travel, and mastering the dreamscape. And Samantha reminds us we're all born intuitive dreamers, ready to dance with destiny. Maybe she'll help us put on our dancing shoes today. And she has a master's in education, years shaping young minds in the classroom. And she now ignites cosmic awakenings through her co-hosted podcasts, Psychic Teachers and Enlightened Empaths. And Samantha's mission is simple yet profound. She helps you tune into your unseen allies. She's going to tell us all about herself. She's going to give us some really uplifting information. I already know it. Thank you for coming on my show, Samantha Fey. It's such a delight to have you here.
Thank you so much, Loretta. I love that introduction.
Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. I feel like I need to do a dance break with you. You're so much beautiful joy and your energy filled. Thank you for being here.
I'm so excited to dive in and talk to you.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I want to know what led to the writing of Heavenly Alliance.
Well, I've been hosting my podcast, Psychic Teachers, for 15 years now, and we do a monthly Q&A show, and I get lovely emails from listeners all the time, and they'll write in about how they had this profound spiritual awakening, or they manifested almost everything on their vision boards, and then ta-da, life steps in and it rains on their beautiful parade, and they tend to lose their faith or forget exactly how amazing and beautiful their spiritual awakening was. And so I wrote the book to remind
Yeah.
people that we're not here for a happy ever after. In my opinion, life really is a school, and we're here to learn and grow our souls. And so I wanted to remind people that just because you tried to manifest A, B, and C and you only manifested A doesn't mean that because B and C haven't manifested that you're alone in the world like a kite without a string. That we really do have a team of helpers around us, but that they have to help us not only with our things that we want, but they also have to help us with the lessons that we have pre-designed for our souls to learn. And those lessons are usually kind of tough and hard.
Yeah, I appreciate what you just said, because I do have, like, I was thinking the other day, like even in my own life and of course in my clients' lives, that we do have these what I call peak experiences, or these moments where something really amazing, as we say, happens. And then life becomes routine. We kind of get drugged down a little bit and we start to wonder, has the magic left? Has the divine gone somewhere? Have I lost connection somehow? A lot of people are telling me, especially lately, the last few years, they feel like they've lost their connection, or they're feeling heavy, or they're doing this, that, and the other thing, right?
Yes.
So what
Yeah.
would you say to that? Because I think, like, really reading your book, I went, this is, we need this book. Samantha, your timing is perfect. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and respond to that.
Well, as a traditional classroom teacher for a long, long time, I always look at everything through that lens. And so I always tell people, when you feel disconnected from yourself, from your spark, from your guides and angels, from your community around you, to me, it's like when you're in class, right? Remember back when you were in elementary school and it was super fun and you had recess and you went to art, you went to library and you did all this great stuff. But when the test time came, remember those test days, you were alone at that desk. There might be students around you, your teacher's probably at the front behind his or her desk, but you were alone with that piece of paper taking that test. Now, could you raise your hand and ask the teacher to give you all the answers? Yeah, you can. Is she going to do it? No, because that's what test days are for. And that's how I look at the challenging times that we go through as individuals, and that we go through collectively as a country or throughout the world. We're in testing times, and it doesn't mean that we're alone. It just means that our guides feel that we've learned enough to show what we have accumulated in our own innate wisdom without them needing to step in at that time.
Oh, I like how you said that. I really do. I think that, my whole thing is about empowering people, bringing them back into themselves, or helping to remove all of the false, identities in order to find self, like a lot of trauma healing, right? And the idea that we are being pulled back to ourselves somehow, that this is asking us to go deeper or to stand up taller or something. I like how you said that. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it can be any change is scary. Good change is scary just as much as bad change is scary. And I feel that if people aren't in touch, not only with their team of helpers, but most crucially, in touch with themselves. Who
Mhm.
are you now? Who we are now isn't who we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And so the things that we may have wanted back then, they might not be what we want right now. And so I think there's a call to go within and really think about, what is it that I want right now? Because just as you were saying in your astrology opening on the solar eclipse, I really do feel that's so poignant for what we're all being asked to do, is to strip away the illusions, strip away the inauthenticity that's all around us, and really get to the heart of the matter, and not get swept up in the negativity that is swirling all around us.
Well, in the heart of the matter, absolutely, go in, right? Not to get overly biblical, but the kingdom of heaven is within. And that's I think a lot of the externals are making us, revamp how we're thinking about things, where we're going for answers, if I could say such a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that there's something about those of us on the spiritual path where it's almost as though we feel guilty focusing on ourselves and our needs and our wants, you know, because we're such natural light workers and we just want to share Reiki and give a crystal to someone and do some healing energy and uplift someone else's day. And that's all great. But if you are in that period where you feel as though you have lost your spark or you have lost your connection, you really do have to take the reins back and think about yourself and what will uplift you today, right now, in this moment. And I think if we just focus on lighting up our own selves, you know, just like that old saying with the candle, we'll light up the little corner that we live in our world, and it'll soon catch fire, and then we'll all be ablaze with light.
Thank you for bringing up the candle. It's one of my favorite things, you know, because you're right. First of all, you do have to light your candle. But I know everyone knows this, you know this, but you know, you can take that little candle and you can light so many candles from that candle, but your candle has to be lit, right?
Yeah.
And that's really the deal. Yeah, I just want everyone to light candles today and have cheeseburgers. We could just do that, right? You see how I am. I wanted to ask you a question. In your book, Heavenly Alliance, you say we all have a soul plan. People talk about the soul plan all the time. What is the soul plan? Can we change it?
Yes. So I really believe that we have a soul plan. I don't look at it as necessarily fated. So I do believe that it can be changed. But I think before we come to Earth, we sit down, picture a conference table in the sky, so to speak, right? We sit down with our guides and our angels who have known us forever since we were first created. And they look at what we've learned, what we haven't learned, the challenges we may have avoided, and they will help us construct people and jobs and schools and situations that will challenge us, that will bring out our inner light, that will help us grow in whatever ways we have been maybe lacking in. So if you are the type of person who tends to avoid being in the limelight, well, then maybe in this incarnation, you're being asked to put yourself more into that light. Or if you have avoided situations where you have to really stand up for yourself and speak your truth, you may choose to be born to parents who are narcissistic or emotionally absent, so that by their lack, you have to fill that void and learn that lesson yourself. Can it be changed? Yes, I 100% believe that we can change our soul plan when we are here, if it is in alignment with what we are setting out to do as a soul. So I think that we have ourselves, our human self, who's sitting here thinking about cheeseburgers and going on a wonderful trip to Egypt. But we also have our higher self who knows all about us in a deeper way than we do. And so sometimes, even though we want something to change, it really can't. So that's really the crux. And that's why I wanted to call the book The Divine Dance, because I really do think that, I know they didn't like that title.
Oh, I love that title.
Because I think that life really is a divine dance between fate and free will. And I think the key, when you're a truly awakened soul, the key is recognizing when you're in a fated moment versus when you're in a free will moment. And I have found that that's very hard to do. But if you're super honest with yourself and you're super honest with the things you're sensing and feeling along your path and whatever chapter you're in, you will recognize that those fated moments are filled with, oh my gosh, this had to happen. Or they might be filled with signs and synchronicities and coincidences that can't be explained. And you're like, oh, I guess this was supposed to happen, right? And that could be good or bad. Think about someone you met who's super important in your life. It could be a partner. And you look at all the things that led up to the two of you meeting at that perfect time in that perfect moment. Fate. But then it can be a not so good thing, right? Like losing a job or going through a death or a divorce. And you again can look and see how everything lined up for that exact event to happen. Now, when we're in a free will moment, it's a little bit different. There's not as many signs and synchronicities, but you will feel that passion, that excitement, that sense of, do I have control over this? What is actually happening? And when you feel that swirling of energy, it's usually a good indication that you're in a free will moment. And then you can amend, change, or create co-create whatever it is that you're setting out to do.
I think you just hit the nail on the head. I have so many people that come to me and they have this idea that everything is fated, or they have no say, or the other thing I hear a lot is, what have I done wrong that this is happening? Right? What have I done wrong that this is happening? Or, and I know I'm throwing a lot out there, but I know you'll weave it together in a masterful way. The idea that every single word coming out of my mouth is, oh, erase, erase, don't say that. Oh, erase, erase, don't say that. Do you know what I'm saying? Right.
Yes.
So this idea of fated versus free will, yeah, and being able to recognize when you are in fated versus when you're actually in a place where you could, as you say, dance with it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the key. You have to learn to dance with it whichever moment you're in. When you're in those fated moments, you have to dance with fate. When you're in those free will moments, you have to dance with free will. And it's different, in my opinion, it's different responses are required for each moment. When we're in those fated moments, we do have to have an attitude of surrender. That's really hard. There's no control. We don't know the outcome that's going to occur when we surrender to this event. But when we do have the trust, not only in a creator, in the universe, in our team of guides and angels, but what we really need is trust in ourselves, that we will know what to do. We will know the right thing to say, but we won't have that trust until we do, as you were saying before, really learn to go within. And then when we're in a free will moment, we have to trust ourselves then as well. And we also have to be our own cheerleader and really start to think about ways that we can cultivate and use this beautiful energy swirling around us to manifest what we really want.
Wow, that's great. We're actually going to take a little station break, and my amazing guest today is Samantha Fey, magical, mystical Samantha Fey, and her book Heavenly Alliance. Call on your spirit guides, ancestors, and angels to manifest the life you want. I think while we're taking a little break, you can just go order the book right now. Just go to it right now. Go to her website right now. Just check it out. And don't go away, because we have lots more to talk about.
All right. All clear, ladies.
Alternative Talk 1150 is your sports organization's safe bet when it comes to airing your team's games. Our players are all seasoned professionals when it comes to sports programming. Imagine your games being heard on local radio. Your team deserves the MVP treatment. Call 425-653-1150 today to learn how affordable and fun it is to broadcast your games on the radio. Call 425-653-1150 and make your next season something special. That's 425-653-1150.
Energy is powerful. It's all around us, mysterious, full of potential. Directing positive, healing energy to raise your vibrational rate through Reiki can change your life. Reiki Master Loretta Brown has relieved stress, sadness, anger, and even helped clients lose weight, stop smoking, and end sleep disorders. Worldwide, people have sought out Reiki Oasis. If you want help with your dis-ease, visit ReikiOasis.com. Harness life's energy. Visit ReikiOasis.com today.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/1150kknw.
Y'all ready to come back? All right, stand by.
Don't be false or untrue. It all comes back to you. Open fire on my burning heart. I've never been lucky in love.
Welcome back to the original Loretta Brown Show with my amazing guest today, Samantha Fey, and her book, Heavenly Alliance. We're going to be talking more about that. I want to remind people these shows are archived. You can download them for free at the KKNW 1150 AM archives for the original Loretta Brown Show. And of course, we're everywhere. We're on YouTube, X, Megaphone, iTunes, Podcast One, Spotify. I'm sure I've left something out, but please go find it. The show will air again a couple of times this week, and then you can find hundreds of shows from many other wonderful people. And Samantha, what is your website?
It is samanthafey.com, and my last name is spelled like Tina Fey, although there's no relation. I wish there was. I love her, but yeah, so it's samanthafey.com, Fey.
I love that. Yeah. So we are talking about free will versus fated will. We're talking about the soul plan. And we're talking about your book. Where do I want to go with this question? You had talked about the fact that we can change our soul plan. How do we do that?
I think that we do that through meditation, visualization, and prolonged, focused, concentrated thought. I cannot tell you what I have learned in my amazing soul travel dream experiences and my own meditation experiences, connecting with my guides, the power of our thought and our will, when those two combine, we really can do anything. You know, there's an old legend that's been retold many different ways, but I love it however it is told because it is so true. And it talks about all the gods and goddesses are standing on, I don't know, Mount Olympus. They're on top of a mountain. And they're talking about the power that we humans have to create anything we desire. And the gods and goddesses are saying, well, we need to hide this from them because, you know, then they're not going to be looking to us for anything anymore. Where can we hide it? And one god is like, well, let's hide it in the deepest part of the ocean. And the other gods say, no, humans are pretty smart. They're going to figure out how to create scuba diving equipment and get down there. And another one says, well, let's hide it on the highest mountain ever. No, eventually they'll create airplanes and they'll figure out and find it there. And finally, the goddess steps forward and speaks. And she says, I know where we can find it, where they'll never look for it. And she says, we'll put it in their hearts. And I just think that is so true. So when you want to change your soul plan, you really do need to write it, speak it, and act it. Right. So if you are going through, let's say you're going through, I don't know, a bad luck cycle, and you just feel as though everything is just compounding on itself in your life and you want to change that. Well, the number one way to change that is to stop complaining, to stop focusing on the bad luck. And that's really hard to do. I could speak from experience, you know.
Yeah.
But you do have to try to tamp that down as much as you can. And then you have to focus not on what's missing in your life, but on what you want to create in your life. And you want to write that down. You want to speak it out loud. You want to take that visualization into meditation for about 5 minutes every day for a month. And then you just let it go into the universe, knowing that it's going to take seed. Now, I am a very visual person, so I always like to have visual reminders around me of what I am trying to create.
Yeah.
So there are lots of fun things I like to do. If I'm trying to grow my business or grow an income source that I am making, I will write that down in the present tense and I'll put it in the soil of a very easy to grow plant like bamboo. And I'll put a green aventurine crystal on that plant in the soil. And I'll put it somewhere I can see it every day, my office or my kitchen, so that every time I walk by it, or water that plant, I'm reminding myself, oh yes, I am setting the intention to increase my income, to grow my business, or whatever it is. That is so important, I think, to have those visual reminders, because we get busy and we forget. And especially if you're in those bad luck cycles, well, you're really busy cleaning up some of the junk you got to deal with in the present. So to have those visual reminders, and then to take action steps, because what happens is you might say like, oh, I got to get out of this bad luck cycle. I need to increase my income. I need to change my job. I need to, what have you. And then you get a thought to call someone you haven't talked to in 8-10 years. And you're like, yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know. Well, that is your team of helpers letting you know that person that we just plopped into your head is a job connection that you need to reach out to. So I think you need to really pay attention to those thoughts and those ideas that just kind of plop into your head, and take action on them.
I love this idea so much. I'm also very visual, and the vision board is one thing, but I love this idea of a plant. And I'm also loving the idea that it needs your attention, right? So you do have to, like water it and say, hey, how you doing? Are you growing? What's happening? And I just love that. That's really a great idea. Really, really great.
We really have to do that, I think, to not only remind ourselves of what we're trying to create in our lives, but also to amp up the energy for when it's ready to come in. As that old quote says, if you want your ship to come in, build a dock. So we have to take those action steps. On the break, we were talking about how I'm getting married in a couple of weeks, and I'm so over the moon excited. But I 100% manifested that beautiful man with very concrete action steps. I wrote out a prayer, and I called it Future Love. And every night I would say this prayer for my future love. And I would ask God to watch over him and to help him have a great day at work the next day. And I had no idea who this person was. I just put that intention out there. I made myself rose quartz bracelets that I wore every day on my left wrist, because I believe left is for receiving that love into your life. And even though at the time I'd been divorced 7 years, I didn't think I was really ready to start dating again. But I thought if I put those action steps out there, I can test the waters and see. And I really think that doing those things combined with a lot of, I did a vision board, all of that. But saying that prayer really did, I think, help. I think it helped the fatedness of how we met and came together. I think it helped prime the pump, so to speak, for that manifestation to occur. So it doesn't always have to be a plant, but it has to be something that you're going to see every day, that you're going to have to take care of and look at, and just really remind yourself, not only am I amending this in my soul plan, am I inviting and calling this in, but I deserve this. And I think it's important. One of my favorite mantras is it is my time and my turn.
Oh, I love that. It is my time and my turn. You're saying so many good things, because the idea that, okay, I will, as you say, do a little 5-minute meditation every day on this thing. I will write it, speak it, and act it, and then I'll do this little meditation every day. I find that people come into great resistance with just the simple part of that. They're like, oh no, I'll do that later, or oh, I can't do that, or oh, my emotions are all up, or oh, whatever. Can you address that resistance, that point of resistance?
Yes, I think when you have that resistance, I think it's a sign that you're not ready for that thing, right? Because we all have our own comfort level. I think that there are, and this might be a little harsh, but I think that there are some people who kind of enjoy complaining and having something to whine about. And I think it's like, when you have a cold sore in your mouth and you can't stop touching it, or you have a mosquito bite and you can't stop itching it, even though you shouldn't, but it almost becomes a comfort thing for some people. I think it's like that. So if you're having that resistance, it can mean that you've just become too comfortable with where you are in your life at that moment, and you're too scared of what it is that you're actually trying to manifest. So start smaller. So for example, I mentioned I was single on my own after my divorce for 7 years. I was not ready to date. I had 3 daughters, and I just really wanted to focus on them and enjoy being with them before they left for college. And I always said, when they go to college, when the last one goes to college, I will date. And, friends were always pushing me. You got to get out there. You got to do this. You got to do that. And I would let them set me up, and then I'd cancel because I just wasn't ready. And so I thought, all right, Samantha, there's an issue here. And so I started kind of retraining myself about how I viewed trust in relationships and love and romance. I never was a romantic person. I started reading romance books. Very hard for my literary self, but I did it. I read all the Twilight books even, let me tell you. I started watching rom-coms with my kids, just to kind of like, I know that sounds silly, doesn't it? But it actually
It's fantastic.
worked.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
It worked, and it showed me different ways to look at love, marriage, relationships, where I was like, well, maybe I could try that again. And then when I did actually take those action steps to call in love, I didn't meet with that resistance. And I think it's because I had done the work on myself.
Yeah, thank you. The work on yourself. Yes, because it is more than just meditating on something. It will bring things up is the point, and you very beautifully said it. It's right. We do have to do our side of the work in order, like you said, we have to build it so they'll come, right? And that is our part of the work. And the idea that you want to be who that person would want to be with is also part of that whole work that is
Yes.
goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think another reason people meet with resistance is because they're not willing, ready, or able to deal with the negative stuff that comes up when we are trying to heal. And I think that is especially true for people on the spiritual path.
Mm-hmm.
When I used to do more in-person classes and things with my students, and they would hear me say the F word, or I'd come into class. I am now a semi-reformed road rager, but I would come into class and I would be like, you would not believe this person, blah, blah, blah. And they would say, well, you're our spiritual teacher. You're not supposed to swear, or you're not supposed to be angry. And I would say, no, no, no. Like, you can't repress any of the negative emotions, whether they're sadness, anger, bitterness, unforgiveness. You have to make friends with all of them. There's a great essay I used to teach my students by Stephen King called Why We Crave Horror Movies. It's a really, really good, quick read. But he talks about how we have these negative emotions that we keep in the basement of our soul. And we have to feed those negative emotions. And horror movies is a simple way to feed them. But I don't really think that we need to feed them with horror movies. I think we need to feed them with our time and attention. Because anger, sadness, they are all friends of our soul that are trying to teach us something we're not really willing or able to look at.
Yeah. I talk about the emotions. I call it a palette of emotions, right? Like, we are created to be able to paint with a palette of emotions. And there's also this old thing that, the disowned parts of yourself are the parts that wreak havoc. So if you own these parts, and I'm not saying give them, the seat of your throne, but, there's this great amount of work to be done within that realm in order to bring yourself into what I call is wholeness, just the wholeness, the authenticity of you, right?
Yeah. And you have to validate everything that's happened to you. No one else is going to validate it for you. You have to validate for yourself all the challenges that you've gone through and overcome in order to really see yourself in the fullness of the light of who you are.
Yeah.
And again, I think a lot of people, especially those of us on the awakened path, are like, oh, well, anyone would have done that, or I only had this choice to be strong. No, no, no. I think we have to get comfortable. And this is something I'm still learning. So, those who can't teach, right? But we have to learn to really be our own cheerleader and pat ourselves on the back.
So your subtitle, your book is called Heavenly Alliance, and then it says call on your spirit guides, ancestors, and angels to manifest the life you want. So pull in those helpers. Talk about how we weave that into our life.
Well, okay, so let's talk with the ancestors. Really, what I
Okay.
mean with that are our family members who have gone before us. And so, if you have family members on the other side, even if you don't know them, ask about them and find out what their stories are. And you can call upon them to help you. And it's pretty amazing the weird things that will happen. For example, I never really knew my paternal grandfather. And I found a photo of him, and he was so smiling and happy. And I just thought, I don't know, I'd like to know you. And so I asked my dad some more stories about him, and I heard some pretty cool things about how he started with he long story, but he started at this company as a Go Friday boy, I think they called it, like just a biker errand boy in high school, when he was high school age. And he ended up being vice president of that company, and just like really impressive things. And I was like, I really would like to know this man more. So I started carrying his picture in my wallet, and I was asking him to help me with a certain aspect of my career. And it was funny, a cousin who knew him way better than I did just randomly reached out to me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I've been working on like a family history and I wanted to share it with you." Whole PDF about my grandfather. And I was like, wow. And then the exact thing I was asking him to help me with, work-wise, it came to fruition, and I just knew it was him. But what I always tell people is be careful who you ask, right? If your mother has gone before you and she was really quiet and gentle and shy, and you're asking for help getting a role, or for an audition to go well, or you need help speaking up to your boss and setting some boundaries, I wouldn't ask your sweet, shy, gentle mom, right? But, but if you had a
Right.
grandmother who was like, girl, I got you, and she was like really tough and strong and in control, that's who you would want to call on. But it's amazing when we just talk about them, when we tell their stories, they really do come around us and they want to help us. And if they can, if it's in alignment with our soul plan, they 100% will.
Yeah, I love that. I have a grandmother who, I think she was 4'10" tall and 4'10" wide, and she shows up every now and then. She's tough. She's tough as nails. Really like her. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Talk a little bit about spirit guides and angels. Um, some people like them. Some people are not sure about all that. And yeah, I'll let
Yeah,
you take it from there.
I totally get that. I believe that we have spirit guides, which are people like you and I who have gone before us. Now, I tend to subscribe to the belief in reincarnation. So I believe that these are guides who have lived many, many, many lifetimes and are super, super wise. And they have a match with our personality in some way. Either they understand those little things that hold us back, your inability to get to become more patient, or your inability to really set strong boundaries, or what have you. And they really understand who you are. And I love talking to my spirit guides in meditation. I love interacting with them in my dreams because they're human. They've lived life. They know what it is to struggle. They know what it is to have a heartbreak. They know what it is to worry about paying a bill or getting this job or doing laundry. They understand the nitty-gritty of being a human. And so they are with us in the thick of it. Whereas I look at our angels as, they were created before us. They are not human. They've never lived as a human, unless we're talking about Enoch. But most of them have not ever lived as a human, and they don't really understand. And I don't know about you, Loretta, but if I'm doing Reiki on myself and I'm meditating, usually that's the best time I can connect with my angels, is when I have crystals and Reiki and I'm really lifting my vibrations. And the response I usually get from the angelic team is all is well, even when all is not well in my world, But they can come in and help you and comfort you and offer you so much solace. And I think this is why you hear those stories of an angel coming in at really abrupt moments. Like you often hear about an angel right before or after a car accident, because I think they are allowed to intervene when our soul plan has butted up against someone else's soul plan, and it's created a situation that was not supposed to happen. I think that's when angels intervene. But I do think they can intervene just to give us a comforting hug. I had this really, really powerful dream with my guardian angel. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2012. I'm fine now. But that was, and every time I would try to meditate to connect with her, I would hear all is well. And I was like, no, 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 all is not well. I'm having surgery in March, And the night before my surgery, I could not sleep. And I just stayed up till like 3 a.m. and I finally drifted off. And I had a dream where I was walking down the beach with her. And I woke up and all I remember was Isaiah 41, this whole verse from the Bible. Now, as a cradle Catholic, we don't really read our Bible. Just, we just really don't. I mean, we have the Old Testament and the New Testament reading each Sunday, but we're never taught to read it. So I didn't know what that meant. And so I had to Google it. And the whole passage was about how even though I'm going through a storm, that God will uphold me with his righteous right hand. And I thought, okay, that was beautiful. And I got through the surgery with no issues, recovered beautifully. And so I think that's how our angels will intervene often on a more general level with us on our soul plane, is by giving us that comfort and reminding us that all really is well.
We could probably do an entire show on divine interventions, messages, signs, synchronicities. My life is so riddled with them that when I asked that question of you, I was thinking, I don't even know how I'd answer the question. I came out seeing dead people and angels. I was just born that way, and energy fields. And so just, one comment, especially for you and the listeners, I thought everybody did that like I did it. And it took me a while to realize they didn't do it like that. But everybody is intuitive. These are natural gifts. I think we're hardwired for these intuitive gifts, right? And for this, we're not just our bodies, we're much greater than that. But as far as my, quote, imaginary friends, which I was told not to talk about my imaginary friends, they're not imaginary. And it's just lovely to know that they're not, they really are there.
Yeah, they really are. And they're here to help us in numerous ways. I think signs and someone asked me just last week, if you truly believe in guides and you truly believe that your family is on the other side and you have angels, why do you need signs? And I thought that was a really good question. And I thought, I just personally, I love it because it gives me such a pick me up in my energetic vibration when I ask for it's like they are listening. And I just think some of us need more of that validation than other people do. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking for those signs, synchronicities, and validations, because it really does help remind us that we're not going through this alone. And we can also ask for signs that help point us in the right direction. But the key is understanding that sometimes the answer is no, or not now.
Right.
So if you ask to see a sign and you don't see it, it doesn't mean they're not there. It means the answer is no. But I think people don't like to hear that.
I got to share this super quick and then I have one last question for you. Years ago, I was like, okay, if you want me to do this thing, which was like a life-altering choice, which was leave the corporate world and start this, I need a sign. So I went to the art museum, and somebody had done a wall-sized piece of art that said, if you're looking for a sign, this is it.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Oh, can I tell you mine real quick? Because I had the same thing. I was in corporate world, but I was teaching English at this lovely college on the Cape Fear River, and I just absolutely loved my career. I loved everything about it. And I kept getting led to do this work full time. My children were very small at the time, and I was like, there's no way I can leave all this, same thing as you. And I went to my neighborhood book club. And I took the long walk back to my house because I really wanted to think, like, can I do this? And so I said, all right, God, guides, angels, team, please show me a sign if I really am supposed to resign from this position and do this new thing. And for the first time in my entire life, Loretta, I saw a shooting star went right over my house. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. I walk into my driveway, into my garage. By the time I put my pajamas on, I had already second guessed that sign.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was like, you know what? 4 million people probably just saw that shooting star. How arrogant of me to think that's my sign. So I had to ask for another sign. So, some of us just need more validation than others, and that's okay.
Yeah. I always say I need it in at least threes. So our time is over, Samantha. That was ridiculously fast. We're really done. And thank you so much for being on the show, Samantha Fey, Heavenly Alliance. Go find out more about her. And I know you're all over the place, and we are past time. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. And to everybody out there, enjoy your cheeseburgers and light your candles, and woo, get ready for new things to birth. More truth coming out. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Thank you, Benny.